Okay, in this video I want to cover some of the differences that are caused because of the way the tuning of the B string is done. Basically, the other strings you're tuning from the 5th fret. But when you get to the B string, you're tuning from the 4th fret of the G string. So that changes a little bit. Changes a couple things a little bit. The tuning principle, for one, say, all right, well, the tuning principle, to find this E on the G string, you go 5 back. It's the same note. Well, because of the difference in the way that the B string is tuned, you only go 4 notes back to find that same note on the B string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, the same thing applies going up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it changes the mechanics of the tuning principle a little bit, and it also changes the mechanics of the octave principle a little bit. Because it is 4 notes, that means, whereas like the other strings, if you jump straight up, it's an automatic 5 notes. Well, when you jump straight up from the G to the B, it's only 4 notes, which means a note has to be made up going this way when you come to it. So if you're going 4 notes, then you jump up again, that's 5 notes, so you got a total of 9 notes. So that means, whereas down here you're going to find the octave, here you're going to have to go up 1 more fret to make up for that lost note. And it's the same way between the D string and the B string, because there's still that 4 note variance rather than the 5 note. So that's basically it on that. The only other thing is, when you're, say, in a scale structure, say if you're in E, the E scale, the E pentatonic minor scale, and you're working between the first and the second note of the scale, which would be an E and a G. Well, because of that difference, these same 2 notes will be played a slightly different pattern down here. There'd only be a 1 fret difference rather than a 2 fret difference. And that's because going back to find this note, you only have to go back 4. But going back to find this note, you have to go back 5. So, because you're only going back 4 on this one and you're going back 5 on this one, you lose a fret. And that happens several places in the scales or instances. And it's not a real big thing. Just be aware of it, because it'll come up. And generally, if you have an ear for music, you'll be able to hear if you're hitting the wrong notes. So, just mess around with it a little bit until you hear the right notes. It's basically how how I figured out all the different spots. And we'll go over the scales as well. But when you're learning scales, you don't always remember everything. So just try to remember that principle is there. It's a little bit different, and if you hear something that's off, that's probably why.